Hey guys, we all been there when we're just driving home after a hard day at the best college, COS. When suddenly, you get a flat tire. So at one point or another in your life, we're all gonna have to deal with the flat tire. So in this video, I would teach you how to change a flat tire because it is an important skill to have that could even save your life. In this video, I will demonstrate how to prepare the tire, take off the tire, and put on the new tire. So before you do anything else, the first thing you gotta do is make sure to kick the tire because it gave up on you and now you can't get home. Now to change the tire, what you're gonna need is any type of lug nut wrench that fit the lug nuts in your car and a car jack. Now most cars come with these type of car jacks, usually small cars. But it's always better to get a bigger car jack because they can support more weight and they're just more reliable overall. First, what you want to do is to loosen up the lug nuts, but do not completely take them off because this is going to be helpful for the next couple of steps. Now sometimes the lug nuts are going to be really tight, which makes sense. You don't want your tire to fall off. So a trick you can do is to use your feet, but make sure to be careful when you're doing it so you don't hurt yourself or the lug nut. So now we're gonna leave this down and we're gonna move on to the car jack. Now make sure that your car jack is in the tight setting to the right so it can lift the car. Otherwise this thing will not rise at all. So once you make sure you got in the correct setting, what you want to do is put the lever on and find a good spot so your car can be lifted up into the air and it can support the weight. So I'm gonna use this part of my car right here because I know it can support the weight, and we're just gonna start to slowly lift it up to make sure that it does go into the right spot. If you see it's crooked, you can slowly adjust it. So sometimes at one point the lever is gonna get pretty heavy, so what you can do also is use your foot to lift it up once it gets heavy. So once you got the whole car jack situation set up, we're gonna move on to taking off all the lug nuts. It's important to follow the star pattern, which basically means if you take this lug nut off, you have to take the lug nut across from it. So either this one or this one. If you take this one off, you have to take either this one or this one. This is because if you go one by one, removing the tire can get very difficult, more difficult than it has to be. So it's just easier. So once you got all of them off, just put the lug nuts in a safe spot where you won't loosen. Otherwise, you won't get it home at all. And now we're just gonna move on to removing the tire. So the way I do it, I grab it from opposite ends of the rim, and we're just gonna pull it out carefully. And there you go. Now a helpful trick or tip that my English teacher gave to me was that once you remove the flat tire, always put it under the car. Well, it goes under the car just in case the car jack fails. You don't want the car to fall off because if it falls off, you will never lift it up. So the final part of this step is getting on your spare tire. You can usually find it in the trunk. That's where I found mine. So what you want to do is try to align the bolts with the holes of the rim so it makes it the easiest possible. So we're just gonna put it closely and try to align them. So once you got them all in the right spot, you just push it in. And you grab your lug nuts and again follow the star pattern. So it's just easier to put them on. And if you go one by one, it will most likely turn out like that, and that way you won't be able to get these at the bottom. So that's why we do the star pattern. So at this point you won't be able to tighten all of the nuts as much as possible because the car is still in the air. So just make sure that the nuts are tight enough to where the wheel doesn't shake anymore or might come off. So once you got that done, we're gonna move on to the final step, which is just getting the car on the floor and make sure the nuts are tightened as much as possible. So to lower the car, what you want to do, as you might remember, we move this thing to the right to make sure it rises up and it doesn't fall down. So to lower it, you only have to move it to the left. So just go ahead and do it. And there you go, the car is now on the floor, and we can remove the car jack. And now we go on to the final step, which is making sure that the nuts are tightened as much as possible. And for extra safety, you can again use your foot to give them that extra twist. So this is the way how to change the flat tire if you ever get one. Remember to loosen up the lug nuts first, then raise it up with the car jack, take off the wheel, put on the new wheel. Remember to follow the star pattern whenever you put the lug nuts on or off, and then finally just put the car on the ground, and there you have a new tire in case you ever need one. I want to give a special shout out to my audience member. He's a little busy right now trying to escape. Quarantine's been hitting him hard too. Looking a little rough because barbershops are closed. There it is. Well, I hope you guys stay safe, that my video was helpful, and that you guys have enough toilet paper too. Peace out.